Introducing Mambo number 5. Or Real Neighbors 5.
Real Neighbours 5.
Yeah, sorry. No,
I don't really know where you're going.
no little bit of Erica, a little bit of Rita.
You know when you see someone falling off a cliff and you're running to go help them, and then you realize you're 100 feet away,
Yeah,
and you just see them hit the ground and crumple.
yeah.
That's what that's where I felt like I was, because
Just right
had
there.
I had no idea where you were going with
You-
that.
you-
So
you-
you
we're
were
on
falling off a cliff somewhere, and I was trying to save you. But
We're on the 5th episode, all right? It's Real Neighbors 5. The big 5. We're like a Marvel movie. We're like, but way just shittier all around. But it's basically as big of a deal, I would say, number 5.
okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. You know that song. Come on, Mama
Jamie,
number 5.
should we start over, or should we just
No,
keep plowing through?
Let's keep plowing through. They can deal.
Okay, all right. That was it was a rough start, but that's fine.
Yeah. I think I got that song stuck in people's head. I'm sure they all liked it.
Wait, which song is this?
Mambo number 5.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, well then that's
Yeah,
what
yeah, I
that
don't
explains
know
why you
what-
don't get the joke. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I was in the wrong place. Like my cliff analogy still applies.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Save me, Austin. What? Save me. All right.
You got to let me know where you're falling. That's all I'm saying,
All
and
right.
I'll be there in a heartbeat.
All right. So Austin, how have you been since last week?
Well, it snowed for the first time today.
Yeah.
That might give people some indication as to what day we record on, but
That's true. Actually, anyone who has listened and happens to remember this knows that you're kind of full of shit, because it did snow already. We actually mentioned it in a podcast.
no, really no,
Yeah,
but
the
like
1st
it
of November.
legitimately snowed this time.
Yeah. It stayed
It
on
was
the ground a
real
little.
snowfall.
Yeah, it stayed on the ground a little bit.
100%. Yeah, it was going a little bit. It melted pretty fast, but it was definitely enough to go. That was pretty close to being a legitimate snowstorm, you know? So
Yeah. No, it's starting to look like a winter wonderland out there. It's weird how many like Christmas decorations are already up. Like, there's some people who are just so gung ho over Christmas, like they're just like right into it. You know?
you mean your parents?
My parents are a good example. My mom, I should say.
I can't tell if this is all just a euphemism for you just saying my parents.
My parents.
You're just saying all this extra fluff.
I'm not trying to target them here. Yeah. Well, I would say more my mom. My dad. I think my dad just kind of goes along with it. He's like, yeah.
I think your dad goes along with everything.
That's true.
I don't know. I can't tell what your dad is actually passionate about, or
Yeah.
what he's just everybody else is doing, and he's like, yeah, I'll go.
Yeah. He just helps other people with their passions.
What if that's not the definition of a dad, guys, I don't know what
Yeah,
is.
no. Shout out to my dad. What a good guy. So yes, we're moving on into winter.
Yes,
for officially.
here it comes. Yep.
Officially, here comes the shit show.
I can feel it. I feel it in my bones. I feel it in my mental state.
Yeah,
It's attacking me in every front.
yeah. What do you think of daylight savings time?
That happened. You know what? I never remember when it happened, so
Yeah.
I don't really have an opinion on it, except for
It sucks. I hate it.
satellite updates my phone.
Yeah.
And I don't even notice it happens until someone tells me.
Well,
so
you know what? I've always wondered why. I feel like it should be swapped, because in the summer, the sun's out later. So you technically could remove the hour then, and then we'd still have a lot of sun. Whereas the sun's already going down so early in the winter, then we get rid of an hour, and it's darker even sooner. And I'm and
it's all in consideration of people that actually work, Jamie.
Well, yeah. Well, that's actually not true. People have been talking about this. They're actually trying to get rid of it.
Are they trying to get rid of it?
Yeah, because like farmers don't need that anymore. Like that literally doesn't affect like anyone. Because first off, you can just get up earlier when the sun's up. It doesn't matter what the number is labeled. I don't know. There's a lot to it. You can look into it, but apparently Canada might actually be getting rid of it. Which, good riddance, I think.
I will confess, it'll be all the same to me. You know what? I was thinking about the pros, which is when I was out with you a couple weeks ago, it was like the night of daylight savings.
Oh, yeah.
And I left because I had to do stuff in the morning.
Yeah.
Then I realized later that I could have theoretically stayed another hour
Yeah.
because I gained an hour.
That's true.
Now the bonus was I got an extra hour of sleep. So if overall I consider it a win. But
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. But
I would say if you're strategical about it, you could have an awesome party that goes an extra hour.
yeah.
So
well, it's Halloween night, so it's perfect.
So arguably, I would say daylight savings is kind of cool.
Yeah. But again, people use the argument of like there's certain jobs that use it, but it's actually not true if you look into it. So I don't know. I think it's in the works of getting rid of it, and I'd say good riddance.
Look it up, viewers.
Yeah, look it up.
Why don't you get informed?
Yeah.
You probably don't know anything about daylight savings, do you?
You probably don't know anything, idiots. I'm just kidding.
Look it up.
No. Oh, God.
Wake up, babies.
Oh, yeah, wake.
Welcome to the real world.
Yeah. You should get informed. Stay woke.
Isn't it great? And I was telling you this earlier. Isn't it great that now that we've had a full run through COVID, all those people that were working that went, hey, I wonder what I'd do with my spare time if I had spare time. Now we can now they can look back and go, oh,
Yeah.
and realize they don't do anything.
Yeah.
And desperately look for another job.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about this. I don't want to get too into my personal life, but I've been off for kind of like COVID related reasons, kind of basically, yeah. And in the beginning, I was like, you know what, not bad, like a little bit of spare time. But after about a month in, I'm like, okay, like no, this sucks. So I would say keeping busy is important. So, yeah,
100%. I think it's a case of where if you don't have that self-disciplined drive to do things on your own,
yeah.
then you're probably better off being a 9-to-5 guy.
Oh, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think I sit somewhere in the middle.
I like a bit of structure is basically what I've learned. Because this is my first time in a long time, like being off work, like basically it's the first time in 7 years. And again, I'm doing all right. I wouldn't say I don't want to air my dirty laundry too much. I'm doing all right, but yeah, it's been a hard year for a lot of people, but it's certainly I learned a lot about myself, and I'm like, you know what, having that much spare time and not doing much with it gets a little depressing.
But here's the thing though, is structure is the only reason a job gives you structure is because you don't have a choice but to make it give you structure, or you lose your job. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
The consequences are extremely obvious when you don't go to work and you get fired and you don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
The consequences are a little less obvious when you create your own schedule.
Yeah.
Because the consequences are more long term. You're like, oh, I've been slacking off doing this thing I'm passionate about for the last 3 months, which means overall I'm not as far along as I should be.
Yeah.
So, but from the day to day, it's not going to immediately destroy you or or mess you up. So it's a lot easier to slough that off.
Oh, absolutely.
So I would say that it's good to have a job for structure, but there are plenty of people, some people that are perfectly capable of creating structure for themselves and operating in it.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm not naturally like that, but I'm getting pretty close to doing that.
Yeah.
Which I'm really excited about. But
it still kind of boils down to a job, like whether or not someone is employing you or you making your own structure. At the end of the day, if your goal is to work towards something, I would say that's a job. At that point.
you want to treat it like a job.
Exactly. So
100%.
So
you have to take these things seriously if you're going to do them.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But I hope everyone out there is doing well. Obviously, it's been a weird time, but. I think things are on the upswing.
You know what, Jamie? It's you and me. Why don't you talk to me more? Why are you only talking to the audience? I'm engaging with you, and then you just keep talking to the third person like there's another fucking guy in the room.
Yeah, guys.
And there's only Benny, and Benny doesn't even talk.
Yeah.
Debatably, he doesn't even exist.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about what Austin's saying? I just
comment, please. Please comment.
Please comment.
Send me feedback. Text me.
Yeah.
My number is.
Yeah. Here's my phone number.
Call me now.
Oh, actually, I don't know if this is real, but on the Eric Andre show, he put Seth Rogen at the bottom of the screen. It's like Seth Rogen's real phone number. And he's like, don't put that. And apparently, they actually put a real number. So I don't know if it was actually his phone number.
Hey guys,
that's
another thing for you to look up.
Yeah, look it up.
Look it up.
Oh, Eric Andre's hilarious.
Could not be.
Yeah. Have you watched that, right?
You know what? I didn't watch the Eric Andre show.
You've never seen?
You know what? Do what I just got into. I only just got into Key and Peele, so I'm working my way into.
They're vastly different shows.
Oh, I know, but they're like
they're comedy
like
shows.
the freaking. I call them the ampersand groups.
Yeah,
where it's like two people and they just throw their names and put an ampersand in the middle, so it's just like Key and Peele, Eric and Andre.
Oh, actually,
there's a couple of them.
It's not. It's actually Eric Andre is just one man. It's Eric Andre is his full
what?
name. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
You're thinking of Tim and Eric. And
There we
stuff.
go. Yeah, Tim and Eric.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's another like Adult Swim.
Thank you, Jamie. Jamie, you caught me. I was falling off the cliff.
Yeah.
And you swooped in and you saved me, Jamie.
Yeah, exactly. we're saving each other.
So,
this
Jamie,
episode.
do what I call them? I
we're
just call them
heroes.
the ampersand shows.
Yeah.
There's just like it's like two people.
Yeah.
Put an and in the middle.
You know what? We should have just been an ampersand show. Jamie and Austin, or Austin and Jamie. Which one flows better?
Austin and Jamie.
You know what's funny? I thought Jamie and Austin flowed better.
It's weird.
In situations like that, like what do they do to decide like who gets the front?
Dude, I am so confident that there are some groups that were so egotistical that they actually couldn't name it that way because they were both too
no,
like bent
I want
up
to be
about
first. Yeah. I feel
Your
like
name sounds fucking stupid. You should be lucky it's in the name at all.
yours has to be last. Yeah.
And trust me, last place for you is a good finish.
You're lucky
Fucking
you're
loser.
You're lucky you're even in this name at all. Yeah. Yeah, I actually wonder how many times people have not even went on with that. They're just like, you know what? This is just tearing us apart. We can't.
And you know what? Even
can't
if,
use this name.
I would say even the people that don't care, they must have thought about it for half a second.
Yeah,
Just went, oh, my name's not first.
Yeah, the minute the person pitched it, they're like, yeah, why don't we just do, Jamie and Austin? And then like instantly.
And I could be the coolest dude, but I guarantee you for half a second my brain goes, your name's last.
Yeah.
And then I shut it out and then I keep going. But
yeah.
there's no way that anybody could just completely disregard that fact.
Yeah. No, that's true. You think about it, you're like, what order is the name going in? It's really petty.
We all have it to some degree. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's when you extrovert it and look like a dumbass or something like that things start you start soiling the water a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, on the topic of Adult Swim, weirdest
Oh, that's
music,
where we are. Perfect.
Yeah. Well, weirdest music performance I've seen probably this year. So apparently Adult Swim does this thing called like the Adult Swim Festival, like very original name.
I've heard of this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually I had a little recommendation online to watch. It was like because I like Thundercat. You've heard of Thundercat?
I have actually.
He's like a bassist.
And
he was actually into Pimp a
Oh yeah,
Butterfly
no, dude.
too.
He did. What was it? Was he on To Pimp a Butterfly?
Yeah, he was all those cool bass like riffs and stuff.
Dude, that
Thundercat.
makes so much sense. No,
Yeah.
Thundercat did. He did a Tiny Desk concert with Mac Miller.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Dude, it's so good.
That sounds awesome.
Oh,
I'll
like
check it out.
Mac Miller Tiny Desk concert. Look it up.
Yeah.
I will say this. I'm not even a big fan of Mac Miller personally,
Yeah.
but that concert was just tight.
Don't you have a Mac Miller T-shirt?
Yeah. What's it to you?
Oh, you're just like I'm not a big fan, but I buy his merch.
You're just drawing logical conclusions, huh?
Yeah. No, that actually sounds awesome.
No,
I like him.
well-
I was never a huge fan, but everything I've heard by Mac Miller, I've liked.
Well, since you brought
Most
it
of
up,
it.
just want to throw it out there that my sister gave it to me.
Oh, the shirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
She had it and she saw me wear it.
So
She said it looks pretty cool on me.
Yeah.
So
So
I thought then this is mine now, and she said, "Well, that's not what I was getting at, but yes,
So you're not as much of a poser as I thought you were.
dude. I have a Muse shirt. I don't listen to Muse either, but I stole that from someone else.
Really?
I stole that from Josiah,
Oh.
and what I'm wearing right now,
Yeah.
this sweater,
Yeah.
belongs to Mike.
Holy.
Dude,
I
I'm
gotta
actually
keep-
starting to wonder if I have any clothes that I bought.
Yeah. I gotta keep an eye on my stuff. I think you've only really borrowed a
I've
sweater
already
like once.
I've already emptied whatever I wanted from your collection.
Yeah. All the things that are missing, I'm like, you just have them secretly. You're
You
like,
start thinking about it.
wait
I
a minute.
have like a separate like
wait a
drawer.
minute. Wait a minute.
that I'm-
Actually, that's my sweater you're wearing right now.
Wait, so you're wearing two sweaters? What's
what's-
that one underneath?
What's that one underneath?
Oh no!
Dude, are those my socks? Come on.
I liked the color coding.
Yeah. So yeah. What I was saying about Adult Swim. So Thundercat. There's a performance with Thundercat and Ariana Grande,
What?
and I was like, that's such a weird. I can't.
Was it weird? Like, was it not good?
Oh, it was.
Ariana
it was all
Grande
right.
is a very good singer.
Yeah.
I just want to throw that out there.
She
but
is. She absolutely is. I'm not a big fan. It was just a weird mashup. Like, yeah, like again, I didn't hate it, but I was just kind of like, how
Jamie,
did this come to be?
That's not a weird mashup. Do you know what a weird mashup is?
Yeah.
Lou Reed and Metallica making an album together.
Oh, I forgot about that.
By the way,
Lulu.
here's guys.
It's called Lulu, right?
This is the theme of the episode. Look it up. Lou Reed and Metallica. Lou Reed, the singer of Velvet Underground.
Yeah.
Like a Beatles-esque kind of band from the 60s, 70s.
Wow.
They made a band with
proto-punk. They're a little heavier than the Beatles sometimes.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little noisier.
Well, dude, but Beatles went all over the place.
That's true.
That's very debatable.
Oh, that's
but,
true too.
But
Helter
he made
Skelter.
an album with Metallica, and wow, it is as awkward as it sounds.
Yeah.
The mixture of metal with like kind of more
Spoken
folky,
word, like
spoken,
poetry.
like folky
Oh,
kind of style.
I only
it
remember-
does not work.
I only remember one lyric from it. It was something like something like a girl. What
No,
is
it was here. I'll do it. She's a small town girl, and it's like, and then there's a Metallica riff in the background doing like the.
Oh no, I actually really want to look this up just because I want to get it right because the one lyric I'm
Dude,
thinking
it
of-
was "She's a small town girl," and he was just yelling that over and over again. And there's a Metallica riff in the background.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember this.
Well, you're thinking of a different. Here, one sec. It was like.
I will allow us to stay on this topic just because it's purely like
I want-
audio based. There's
Yeah.
there's no visual indication required.
Yeah. Oh, here actually, Benny, look that up. Something like a girl, Lulu. I just want to. It's the one word
Now,
is
we
just
can't-
such an awkward statement.
Are you reading the lyrics right now?
I am. I really want to get this right.
Okay, well, while Jamie's doing that, I'm just gonna fill the void by
Fill the
saying
void.
things and keep dampening it with words.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm already
Some-
out. Jamie, quickly.
Okay, I can't find it. It's like something a really awkward word. It's like something like a girl, and he keeps saying that over and over. And that was the weirdest song
Well,
I
dude,
heard.
the summary is the album's awkward.
Yeah.
So Ariana Grande
You
is,
failed me again, Benny.
dude. Like Ariana Grande and Thundercat is basically Summer compared to Lou Reed and Metallica.
That's a good point.
Something that you would expect to come every year.
Yeah. No, that's fair. It's a very awkward album. I haven't thought about that in years, to be honest.
I know. It only came to mind now when you said that. I'm like, awkward collabs? Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me think of one.
This whole thing will just tell people to look up different stuff. So look that up, everyone.
Oh, but dude, Thundercat To Pimp a Butterfly. Oh,
Oh yeah. Oh, it's awesome. Yeah. No,
that's
he's
very nice.
He's really awesome. But yeah. So something I was reading, a little segue, seamless segue. So I somehow ended up reading about like the beginning of Starbucks. Okay, have you ever like?
Oh, these are good topics. These
Yeah.
are really good pop culture topics.
They are, yeah.
Jamie, can we talk about Star Wars afterwards?
Sure.
Perfect. Okay, good.
But first, Starbucks.
I just want to hit all the hot points now that we're here.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. So Starbucks. Fun fact. Apparently, it was called Starbo when it first came out, and it was actually started by a bunch of like university professors in Seattle. And basically,
Why does that sound like a beer brand?
I know.
Starbo? Like
Starbo?
I feel like I would go into anywhere and go like, oh, do you have Starbo on tap?
There is a cider or something called Strongbow.
Yeah, Strongbow. That's what it was.
That's probably what's
I'm
similar.
like, why is it just ringing as a beer for me?
Yeah. Well, anyway, I didn't retain much of what I read, but the points that stuck out to me was the guy basically said when they were coming up with the name, I think he was a psychology professor. I could be wrong, but he claimed he thought words that started with ST were like powerful words, I guess. So they were like, we need to find a brand that starts with ST. And then that made me think about like just branding in general. I'm like, I wonder how big Starbucks would have been if it weren't for like just that perfect, catchy, punchy name. Like
If you got rid of the S and it was Tar.
Tarbucks.
Tarbo. Tarbucks.
Ugh. Well, you don't want to drink coffee from somewhere called Tar.
Welcome to Tarbucks.
Well, even food aside,
You know what, though?
that is fair because that word sticks in your head a bit. So I was like, branding really is a big deal. It kind of makes or breaks a lot of things.
Dude, 100%.
Yeah.
No,
So what are
without
we doing
question.
with real neighbors? I just kidding. I do think it's good, but what if we had something that started with ST? Like what could be like the Star Neighbors? We should just rebrand.
That's the problem. Is everybody always talks about like ST, and the only thing people can fucking think of is Star. That's
Yeah.
all. That's what you're really saying. Like what?
Stout.
Come on, throw a bunch of other ST words.
Stout student.
I can think of names like Stanley.
Stanley Neighbors, and we're still
Stanley
committed
Neighbors.
to Neighbors. Even though we should.
Neighbors is assumed.
It's assumed we should have just called the podcast Stanley.
We could say stonks,
Stonks.
as in stocks.
Yeah. Oh, that's somebody's definitely ran with that.
Dude, there's definitely a podcast
At
out
least
there called
100.
Stonks.
At least
The
100.
Stonks podcast.
Ugh. And that they
Oh.
they just jokingly talk about the stock market.
You know what? Sticks.
Sticks. That's a band.
Hey, with an X.
That's true.
That's the important part, and a Y. So it's not even the
yeah.
spelling is somewhere else entirely.
Yeah.
I know this because
Do you like Sticks?
yeah, I do like Sticks. I was in a I actually played Sticks in a band. I was a drummer.
Is that what drummers use? Yeah, they do. They do use sticks. Yeah.
Guys, this is why I'm on a podcast. I could just slam. I could do this all day, folks.
Oh yeah,
And
just
I-
point out facts. Yeah, I actually play guitar. I use a pick to play the guitar.
And so
I play with picks.
Now, on top of that, it was double layered because I also did play Sticks.
Yeah,
With Sticks on the drums, and
Yeah.
it was like one of the
playing
bands I played in.
sticks with your sticks.
And I'm not even mainly a drummer. I would at the time, I just so happened to be in like 2 or 3 bands.
Yeah.
And you just go to bars and jam, and it was a lot of fun. And so we played "Blue Collared Man," which is definitely one of Styx' most popular songs.
Yeah.
If you know any Styx at all.
I actually have a Styx album on vinyl that my brother bought me.
Oh, yes, I know that one. Yeah, I remember that.
And I've actually, it was funny because I wasn't even like a big fan. He bought it for me just going, I think Jamie would like this. So I was more of a like recommendation buy. He's like, I feel like this is something you would like. And I did. I've listened to that album a few times.
Oh, Styx is like, it's a perfect homage of the times.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the bands back then, because it was like, I think the Styx were like late 70s?
Yeah.
Early
the kind of
80s?
prog rock.
Yeah, like definitely they were all in the prog era.
Yeah.
And they were up there with the rest of them. I think Styx was a pretty solid
Oh
band.
yeah, there's a lot of good prog bands. Actually, what is it, Blue Collar Man? I would say their most popular is probably Domo Origato or Mr. Roboto.
Oh, yeah,
Apparently
that's a
sticks.
big one.
That's like I knew that movie when I was.
I know,
really young.
isn't it funny how there's all these bands out there that just they just randomly have these songs attached to them, and you're like, I don't even know where that.
Yeah.
Really, you made that song too?
Yeah.
Do you know what the big example of that for me is? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes has like all these songs like Roundabout
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and they were a prog band, and they made like 8 prog albums, and then out of nowhere they just made like what is it, Owner with a Lonely Heart.
Oh, okay.
Just like that random kind of poppy, just like somber, like it was just weird. I don't know. I feel like for
Yeah.
like anybody who was a Yes fan at the time, they were kind of going, where did this come from?
Yeah, a little change their direction.
This isn't Sound Chaser. This isn't a 23-minute prog epic.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you like Styx, if you were to hear like Mr. Roboto, you wouldn't really get a good taste of what most of their stuff is like. I would say
No, because yeah, Mr. Roboto it's a unique
kind
song.
it's just kind of a poppy little tune they threw out, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
but it's that I would.
But you
argue
know what?
that's
That
the
makes
most
sense,
popular.
dude, because you know what? Styx also did the exact same thing that a lot of those prog bands did. Like Yes did it, Genesis did it, Styx did it. When they were breaking out of the 70s, going to the 80s, everybody was starting to want that sound.
Yeah.
They all did it. They all went pretty poppy for a while.
Okay.
And it was just
That's
it's just the
weird.
way it was. And you know what the weirdest part is for me is I don't really like a lot of the music they made during that period from
Like
a
the
lot of those
poppy-
bands.
yeah.
Yeah, but but clearly commercially they did great. So I can't imagine
Wasn't
they
it-
regret it. Oh yeah, David Bowie did it too.
he was always kind of poppy.
But his like first 5 albums, like Ziggy Stardust,
Yeah.
what else did he have? Diamond Dogs.
Diamond Dogs.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
dude, he had so many great albums, and then he said that a lot of his albums, like Let's Dance,
Yeah.
he said he kind of regretted them
Yeah.
because he felt like it was definitely too far in another direction.
Yeah. But to be fair, there's a lot of people who like him for those songs. So
Oh, it's totally true, and
It
it's
definitely
up to the
expands-
fan to really determine that, right?
yeah,
So
it definitely expands their audiences a bit too. 'Cause
Yeah.
people who wouldn't necessarily listen to the other stuff would like their poppy songs. So I can see going in that direction.
and
obviously.
you can't really blame them because that was just the times too. I said everybody was doing it at that kind of particular point, like going into the 80s, early 90s, before grunge took over and all that
Yeah.
shit. So
Yeah. Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I
love them.
Tarkus.
Tarkus.
I have
yeah.
that album on vinyl too. It's funny because how I heard about it was I used to watch Game Grumps, and
Yeah, he's a big fan. Yeah.
Dan Avidan from Game Grumps. Like I don't know, this was years ago. I used to watch him all the time, and he mentioned the Tarkus album by Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and
Yeah.
he was like, "Yeah, it's like a tank armadillo on the cover."
Yep.
And I remember he explained it. I was like, I went and looked it up after he talked about it, and I started listening to it like then, and I kind of forgot about it. And I was in Niagara Falls with like my brother and stuff, and we went to a record store, like a vinyl store, and I just look over and there it is. It was Tarkus, and I was like, "Oh, I'm like that. I recognize that."
And you just bought it.
I bought it. Like I was
That's
like,
awesome.
"Hell
Yeah. You know what? My favorite song of that album, just for the history books, ladies and gentlemen, is "Bitches Crystal." I think it's like it's just like a fun song where it's just like he's like just going to town in the keys, and they're just it's a great song.
Oh yeah.
No, dude, I definitely love that music era, and I could go on about it for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know if really know if that resonates with our audience, but
Yeah. Well,
I love that era.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the format here is we kind of go off on
We
whatever.
just go wherever we want to go. It's true.
We're just taking you on a little journey. It does, but
You're gonna learn that we're very diverse people.
we're very diverse. Yeah.
We got a lot to cover, ladies and gentlemen.
A lot. Yeah. I purposely did it. I purposely did it.
I know you did it, you little shit.
We have a lot to talk about.
You just stared at me.
Yeah.
Just get out of here.
Yeah, there was something. Well, you know what's funny is, I do notice I'm back. It's kind of hard to set up segues to change the topic, but I guess abruptly.
It doesn't bother me at all.
No, it just abruptly stopped me. It's fine. I
No, I
guess.
mean it's definitely a you thing.
You don't think it's weird to just
No.
Okay, well,
I'll just cut you off right there.
Cool.
Segues are not a problem for me personally.
okay. Well, so something I had on my mind that I was interested in what you would have to say about. So like, in the past, like when people would write about the future or have all their predictions of the future, typically the main ideas everyone came up with are things that naturally humanity actually is doing. Like, for example, the Jetsons was like all video calls way before that was even plausible at
Yep.
all. And naturally, as humans, we just went there, which is just kind of in writing and culture. We've somehow just all the predictions are slowly coming true because that's what we're almost working towards at this point. Is what the fiction.
You know what?
was.
I think that's both true and not true because a great example is the internet. When the internet was first coming out, people didn't fully understand the potential of the internet. In fact, I think the term they used was like it was an acceleration of product.
Yeah.
It was instead of getting a product like, let's say, a document, instead of having to send that somewhere, you could have it instantly sent to you. They were like, it increases the speed at which you can get something.
Yeah, like mail.
Yeah,
essentially.
and that was actually to them that's what a lot of people thought like 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And actually, you know what? Going right back to this, David Bowie had a really interesting talk. He was talking to this interviewer, and they were talking about the internet because the internet was a very, very new thing when they were talking about it.
Yeah.
And the guy was interviewing, he was saying this. He was going, it seems cool, but it's not like the next thing. He's like, it's just like a way to like transfer information more quickly and stuff like that. And then Bowie, which I think is really cool, and you can find this clip. He basically talked about the internet being its own entity. He was like, it's going to be this living, breathing thing that's going to like connect people in a way we can't possibly understand. And he was talking like that. And the way he talked about it was was pretty on the nose.
Yeah.
Like just the whole way he said, like the way it's going to connect us and the way it's going to like become this own entity.
Oh yeah.
That kind of is part of our lives.
Very intuitive guy.
Yeah. He was a smart guy. I imagine that he would have been just brilliant if he didn't do as much cocaine.
That's true. Yeah. But arguably, maybe he wouldn't have got as much done.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
You know, he does say, I know we're segueing backwards a little bit, but
You all right?
I choked a little bit.
Okay, you're choking, right?
JB,
Get the COVID tests.
get over here. I need help.
Get the COVID tests.
Oh, it's okay. We got Benny for that.
Yeah.
Benny,
come in with the nose swab.
Busted. David Bowie.
We can't make a podcast for 2 weeks.
Wait, what was I saying now? I can't remember.
Cocaine.
I have terrible memory
David
retention.
Bowie does drugs.
Oh yeah, cocaine. He actually said he doesn't remember making those albums. Some of my favorite albums he made.
Yeah.
He says in interviews later, he's like, it's all like a pipe dream.
Yeah.
I was just so blitzed on cocaine the whole time. I don't even remember making them.
Yeah. He's didn't he also say his diet was peppers, milk, and cocaine?
Pretty much.
I'm like, what the hell?
He was notably logged for being like a famous coke addict.
Oh yeah.
Just like walking around, just
Not the only
slamming
one.
everywhere he went. But I mean,
a lot of
everybody was
80s
like,
bands.
David Bowie did a lot of coke.
Yeah. Well, even comedians in the 80s. You see, my dad showed me like Howie Mandel stand up in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was like, holy shit! Like this guy is just loaded. Like he would come
Is
out.
it actually like
It's like so notable, and same with like even Eddie
dude,
Murphy.
could you see his eyes just bugging out?
All kinds of stand up in the '80s. That's what it was. Was they would just get like so just like just coked up, and they'd come out there all hyper and just like egg the audience on, be like, yeah, and like Howie Mandel, he used to just be like running laps on stage, like jumping around. He'd be like, he was crazy.
Dude,
back
you know
in the
what?
day.
I was talking to a guy. And once again, apparently one of our other themes is just the past, like the shit you used to be able to get away with. Because
Yeah.
I was
The good old days where you could openly do drugs.
just do anything. Yeah, I know, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he was talking to a guy like from the plants, and back in the day, like, and this was acceptable, like in the 80s.
Yeah.
Is like around Christmas, all these guys would just get smashed and just go through the day and just work through the whole day, just being blitzed out of their minds, and they drive home drunk, and the police officers would escort them home.
Where sorry, what was this?
From Imperial Oil or like
people drank
like,
on the job.
Oh yeah, so it would just be
Really?
like, but dude, this was the 80s.
Yeah.
Like this shit happened all the time everywhere. This isn't like an incredible phenom in especially in a small city like ours, right?
It was definitely less frowned upon, especially drunk driving.
And the cops
That
would
is
literally
so
what they
frowned
would
upon
say
now.
Yeah, what they would just say back then is they'd go up to the cop and go like, "Hey,
Rightfully so.
hey, we're drunk," and the cop would be like, "Yeah, I'll just escort you home," and
Yeah.
the cop would just like
Yeah,
lead them ahead. And
that's an interesting contrast to now because I actually heard when Mothers Against Drunk Driving and all these groups started pushing for like really trying to put an end to it because obviously people lose their lives doing that and it is very
you want to know
dangerous.
something mind blowing, Jamie?
Yeah,
I can't remember the exact number, but I think it's, and this doesn't make it okay or
Yeah.
anything, but I think the average amount of time somebody drank and drive before getting caught is like 65 times.
oh,
Like people that drink and drive do it several
Oh,
times
yeah, yeah.
over the
It's
span
not-
of years
it's-
before they get busted.
yeah. Well, but then there's some who their first
Now
time.
trust me though. Yeah, trust me
They'll
though. When you
crash or
get
something.
busted, you definitely regret all the times you did it because you probably affected someone else.
Yeah.
It doesn't just involve you most of the time.
Well,
so
yeah. Well, I'll put it this way. I've talked to people. Obviously, we all know people who grew up in that time period. I've heard from a lot of accounts that it was definitely not nearly as frowned upon, and it's so the contrast as of today is like now it is such a taboo thing, whereas back in the day, police would give people warnings. They'd be like, "All right, just go right
now
home."
you got to keep in mind though is. In terms of like a society or a government, why would they react to things that aren't a problem yet until they become clearly a problem?
Yeah.
Because
So those groups probably pushed it more to the surface because they highlighted the issues with it, right?
yeah,
Like Mothers
because
Against
like
Drunk
it's like
Driving
things
stuff.
like seatbelts, like you were just saying, or drinking. It's like, what are you going to do? Just presume that it's not going to work out and then just immediately ban it just on that seems like it would be bad. Let's just ban it right now just in case.
Yeah.
It's definitely a trial and error where they're like,
Oh.
oh yeah, alcohol's cool now. Oh, people are drinking it. Oh, there's crashes all the time now. I
Yeah.
guess we should ban it.
Yeah, trial and error. Yeah, with everything because they're not going to assume the issues if they don't realize them yet.
And you can't. And as much as it seems like common sense, that's just hindsight 2020, man.
Yeah.
Nothing is as obvious as it seems.
In the
we
beginning.
get to enjoy the luxuries of the fact that we have textbooks that tell us that
Yeah.
things are like whether things are okay or not growing up. And then we get older, and then we look back and go, "Wow, those fucking idiots had no idea what they were talking
Oh,
about."
yeah.
But
Well,
dude,
so something you
I don't know. I have sympathy for people that were like alive back then.
Oh yeah, they didn't know it wasn't.
Why would you
the
think
same
about
time.
it? It's
yeah.
just a part of your life.
Yeah, it wasn't the same at all. Well, something interesting you've mentioned to me. Basically, you've always said like it's interesting to see how kind of morality as a society changes because there's things that people like that, for example, back in the day, where they probably didn't realize like the repercussions it could have, and now it's so frowned upon that a lot of people wouldn't even think of to do it.
Yeah.
But you always pointed out that you think the time you're living in is like perfect or not perfect moral high ground, but you think it's basically on the right track. But it's interesting to think like what down the road that we do now might be like very frowned upon.
Have I told you my theory?
Yeah. Well, you always you can say it. If you
Yeah,
want.
okay. I think I've said it on the podcast before, but here's my theory, and I feel like I have a pretty good chance of being right.
Yeah.
Is I'm pretty confident, like 40 years from now, like when we're getting into our 50s, there's a new generation coming up.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that they're gonna look at our generation and go like, bunch of fucking morons.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, it's gonna be like profiting from slave trade, basically.
Yeah.
Getting cheap product
Yeah.
from slave labor.
Yeah.
I am confident that as much as we think we're good and we have like all these things that we like,
Because it's out of sight, out of mind. Where
Exactly.
like our culture, we don't really have slaves, but at the end of the day, your phone is a product of slave labor elsewhere.
we're directly benefiting from the fact that that's happening. And
yeah.
sorry, like obviously there's some people that aren't happy about it, but it's clearly still popular and happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Almost
So,
everyone has a
and I-
phone and phone, a lot of clothes, you know?
yeah, and I guarantee you, they're gonna be like, what were they thinking?
Yeah,
just all these people were just suffering and being chained up in these shops, and we were
people just
getting some
ignored it.
sick ass shoes.
Yeah. Yeah, so like our time period, like in the future, they might look back at like our culture and be like, "What assholes?"
No, I guarantee you, we are not going to stand the test of time the
Yeah.
way nobody else has clearly so far.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, because I guess that's just what life is. We're constantly, but then again, there's has been periods where people have, what's the word, digressed, or
well, look
there's
at
definitely
okay,
cultures that have
okay,
backpedaled.
but
and
look
got
at it
worse.
this way: I know some people that actively resent their grandparents for being what they are.
Yeah, boomers.
Well, like grandparents, like
Yeah.
like 70s, 80s, like a lot of them even grew up during the war, or went through some serious shit,
yeah,
and like their grandkids give them no sympathy.
yeah,
They're just like, my grandparents have these old regressive views,
yeah.
And you know what? My grandparents maybe have a couple things about them that are
Oh, everyone
definitely
does.
old fashioned, but it's a
Oh.
thing where. Do you really that's how they grew up their whole life? Do you actually expect them
Yeah.
that you can just give them like a dramatic speech and that's just going to change their last 50 years of perspective?
Yeah, and it's a like dynamic that's been around like for as long as time has been, because there's actually a lot of quotes from past civilizations and stuff. I guess even in Egypt, I guess they found writing. Basically, it's likened to like one of those boomer comics where they're just going like, kids these days are always on their phones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was basically likened to that, because there was an Egyptian thing they found. It was said something along the lines of, the new generation only cares about like luxury, or they only care about like what's the word? Basically comfort and excess. You know what I mean? Basically
Yeah.
saying
Consumerism.
yeah, basically. And this was ancient Egypt. Apparently, they even had issues in their generations where they were like, our kids are all like awful. and I read another thing in France. They actually said that about books. There's people like, these kids are
I know,
reading books too much.
I know.
And like it's like funny now that most parents would be like, my kid's reading books. That's awesome.
I know. At this point, people would be ecstatic if their kids are reading books. They'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, my son's a genius.
Yeah, most kids. Yeah, so it's like, it's funny how that's changed, but it just shows that like the dynamic of like of the difference in generations has always been like that. Like there's
Now,
always,
once again, we can look back and go, stupid people not reading books.
yeah,
But once again, it must feel good to kind of be up in our high seats and just kind of just throw shit at people. And
yeah,
I grew up with the internet. What were you doing?
Yeah.
Growing up in a cave with no education, idiot, and
Yeah.
just throw shit at them.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Well,
don't know. I got sympathy. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Even if I don't necessarily agree with a lot of perspectives, I'm kind of like, you know what? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that
Oh, yeah.
you grew up a different way, and
yeah. As long as they're not like actively being assholes. I'll
now
obviously
there's of
call
course
someone out.
if they're militant about whatever it is.
I will say something, but yeah, at the end of the day, if they're just, you can't. It's expected.
Yeah, but you know what? It's the same thing is like you just got to let it be. A great example would be and I'm only starting to notice it now because I've actually been in Sarnia for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
The guy on the corner at Loblaws. What's the corner like? Murphy and
London.
in
yeah.
London. Yeah, like he's still there,
Yeah.
and it's been years. I heard rumors about him years and years ago.
Yeah.
And he's still there almost daily.
Yeah,
But-
yeah. So yeah, to explain more what that is, it's basically a guy preaching on the corner, but he's like a fire and brimstone kind of guy.
Yeah, because we're in Sarnia, and he's a very just condemning Yeah, as you said, definitely a fire and brimstone kind of
He's
guy.
just like, repent or you'll burn in
we're all
hell.
gonna you'll burn in crimson for eternity.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal.
He's kind of a meme in this town at this point.
Yeah.
Really.
In Sarnia, he's become one of the characters that we
He's
have.
one
in
of the
town.
characters. Yeah. I've
now-
seen someone dress up as him. Like there's a Halloween costume, someone dressed as him, and I was like, "That's brilliant."
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, that's
Now-
hilarious.
now-
Because he carries signs, so it's very distinctive. He has a big sign with all these.
Oh yeah,
words.
totally. With all the quotes and Bible verses and
Yeah, and
eternal damnation.
I've heard awful
burning.
things about him, like where he's like yelled at single mothers for no. Like
Oh,
I've heard
yeah.
horrible things about him.
He's not a fun character.
No.
Now, with all that said, the reason I brought him up
Yeah.
is because he's one of those guys that are definitely. I said he has an older perspective. That's a lot of people would consider outdated. Probably even
Yeah.
people his age.
Yeah.
And he's very Milton about it. And
I am.
but the thing is, it's like the reason he's still there because what do you do about it?
Yeah.
The reality is just that's just what
Well-
he is. You're not going to change him. Like
Yeah.
how do you stop him?
Well, he's not doing anything legally wrong, apparently.
Yeah.
Because people have tried to report him and say he shouldn't be standing on that corner. He's distracting drivers. But there's nothing that can be done.
And that's so I actually do view it as just leave him be.
Oh, exactly.
The guy he I said he's kind of has his old
He's
perspective.
just doing that. Yeah. It's funny though because you can barely hear what he's saying. So I ultimately think he's wasting his time.
I know
but,
his megaphone is
he's
barely
like,
words.
"Rah, rah, rah,
I know
rah,"
all I
and
hear
you
is just
can't-
like "Burp."
Yeah.
Crimson fire. Eternal turn.
Yeah. That's literally what it sounds
It's like just a bunch of blob. They just hear death forever.
You know, what's Bioshock? I think it's Bioshock Infinite. He reminds me of that voice of like the machines.
Oh yeah.
It's like join the Providence or whatever.
Oh
he said.
yeah. Those old because those are megaphones.
Oh, I guess yeah.
Yeah, I know the connections you're making.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
brilliant observation. He's. But I would argue he's probably in some weird fringe extremist group because he also is with this weird girl who they wear vests with words on the back and it almost looks like these like punk rock jackets almost like I've seen them walk around together. And it's just
What,
like
they can't afford the bikes.
I guess I don't know. Yeah, they're like biker jackets, but they just says
They wear
like,
biker jackets,
repent or burn for
and they have like
eternity
a fund.
on
They have
the
like
back.
a fund. Like they have like a fishbowl for a fund to get motorcycles. They're
Yeah.
like, we just want to be a motorcycle gang that condemns people.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's his wife, but every now and then he's with that girl, and she looks like just a sweet lady, and then she's just wearing like a shirt that's just like you're gonna burn in hell. It's like holy. Wow.
Repent, animals.
Yeah. Single mothers are whores. Like literally.
They divorced their husband and they should be shamed for eternity.
Yeah. No, they're very intense. I would argue they're
Yeah.
probably a part of some extremist, like probably like not a. I don't know what a definition of a cult is, but I would assume they're kind of have odd beliefs.
Yeah,
Based on they seem like they're kind of
Well, dude, they're just Old Testament. That's what you call them. They're just Old Testament folk. They're yeah, and you know what? It's fair. There's some people that just believe that the New Testament never happened. So they're just like the Old Testament. That's the way to go.
yeah.
And definitely a lot more metal. The
Yeah.
Old Testament was pretty fucking metal.
Yeah, a lot more metal. Yeah,
No, I'm saying they didn't fuck around. If
he's
there
just
was,
sitting on the corner. He's like,
we're talking,
that's
but
not
we're
horrible.
talking shit like like you do like one thing
That's my
wrong. and
metal
it's like,
scream.
it's like you do one thing like like I'm gonna steal some shit, and then God's like, I saw that, and now you and your kids,
give me
you
your
and the next
hand.
you and the next 5 generations are gonna have leprosy,
Yeah.
and be shunned from your community,
and locusts will plague you.
and they will, and the moment you're born, vultures will pull your baby's eyes out.
They're on the corner. They're like, single mothers must sacrifice their child to enter the gates of heaven.
I'm saying that's pretty. It's that's pretty Old Testament.
Oh
so
yeah, it's pretty metal.
so with that in mind, I see where he's coming from.
Yeah, yeah. He's just a badass.
Old guy. What is
I'm just
actually a good thing?
Yeah.
Is
You know what?
preaching actually good?
You know what? I'm gonna go talk to him.
Man, he seems like a cool. You know what, Jamie?
You convinced me. He seems
After
cool.
let's wrap this up. We'll do some quick editing, and then we'll leave in the morning and go say hi.
Yeah, let's go visit him. I hope
I'm
he's
sure
there.
he's a cool dude.
Yeah, I hope he's
He
there.
probably goes to Starbucks after he's done,
Oh, absolutely.
like any good person would.
Yeah.
go to Starbucks.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's old school in all regards. He's like, I'm gonna hit up the old Starbo. He's old school in all regards.
Starbucks?
Starbucks, no.
I don't understand.
Yeah. I don't move on.
Oh, I
Anyway,
love Starbo, and the person behind the counter just confused, and it's like, I don't really know what that means, sir.
It's like, well,
But
yeah.
wait, aren't you
well,
that guy from the corner?
No, they're like, I don't really know what that means. Like, it's fine. You're gonna burn in hell anyway.
I know. They're like, wait, it's like, aren't you that guy from the corner? And he's like, yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Filthy heathen.
Don't talk to me.
Now give me my
heathen.
Starbo.
Yeah. Actually, I don't want. I'll pour it myself. I don't want you touching it, getting your hell germs on me.
Oh, next thing you know, I'm gonna have to repent for just even interacting with you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. There's definitely some characters around our town, like Sarnia. We got
Yo, we got good ones, we got bad ones. All right, we
Yeah.
got like a great example of one I really like, and a lot of people know him. Is like, let's say Happy Harry.
That's who I was gonna
I
mention.
love Happy
I
Harry.
do too.
So
he used to come talk to me all the time. Really nice guy. He's really old school looking. He walks around. He has like a blazer, like a suitcase, and one of those like hats.
and he just turned 70.
Oh wow.
Fun fact: he's actually quite old, but he's pretty spry. So
Oh, he is.
He looks great for
He's
his age.
kicking. Like so, a lot of people in Sarnia, you know him. You run into him like everywhere. He's all over town. Like
Yeah, I really like Happy
no
Harry.
rhyme or reason.
And
Like you
dude,
can just run
to-
into him for no reason.
And to this day, he still after most services at River City, he plays the organ afterwards.
Oh, nice.
Very
I knew he
often.
played the
and
organ.
he can still play the organ. He still plays pretty well.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. Sometimes I'll actually because I've been doing like drums and stuff there.
Yeah.
After we're done or something like that, and after the service is done, I'll just kind of listen to Happy Harry, and he's kind of riffing away on the organ,
Aw.
having a good time.
That's nice.
Yeah, dude, you know, I like him. So
Yeah.
so there's we have some nice characters here,
Oh yeah.
and then we have some bad ones.
Yeah. Well, he used to actually come talk to me like at work all the time, like back in the day, and he.
Oh, I was jealous because he remembered your name.
yeah, he always remembered my name, which is cool. He's always
Harry
Like,
always walks up to me and he says, "Hello, what's your name?" I'm like, "Harry, we've hung out
To-
like a dozen times."
to
Why?
be fair, he used
Ugh,
to
it
forget my
hurts.
name. It wasn't until he started like frequenting my old job that he finally caught my
kinda-
name.
he made that connection,
Because
yeah.
he would come talk to me all the time, and finally he would just go, "Hey, Jamie," and I was like, "Oh, he knows my
You
name."
finally did it. You made like a special status.
I know.
You're on like a small list of people.
You know what? It really made my day. The first day
I
he called me by
know.
my name, I was like, "I'm a somebody."
You know, I'm gonna go
Happy
start.
Harry knows
I'm
who
gonna
I
go
am.
start hanging out with Happy Harry more. To get in
The
his-
Sarnia celebrity, Happy Harry, knows my
Jamie,
name.
if you're a D-list celebrity, Harry is definitely a C-list
Oh,
celebrity.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Wait a second. We have to get him on the show, Jamie.
That would that'd be.
You know what? That would be very interesting.
We have to tone it down. I don't want to offend
Well,
him.
no, we'd play to his pace. You know, we'd
Yeah.
That's part of being a good interviewer, right? Is you
That's
should
true.
always, and that's why like, someone like Joe Rogan's a fantastic interviewer. Is
Clean up our language a bit.
Well,
make
he's
sure we
always
don't-
able to, you know, kind of play to whoever comes. So
Yeah.
we'd be in the same thing where it's like, oh, we have someone like that on. Let's
Yeah.
cater to that person.
Like for example, we won't talk about like David Bowie's cocaine use when Happy Harry's on.
I think you'd just be like,
'Cause
why am I
he's-
here?
he's-
Why
he's-
these guys are just talking about like drug slamming rock stars? Like,
Yeah.
what am I doing here?
Because he is like a Christian guy, kind of a religious guy, and that's the thing is he does kind of preach to people, but in a very nice way. You can tell he means well. He's not annoying about it. You know what I mean?
he's
just
the
a very-
polar opposite of the guy in the corner.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
He
and
just
means
hands
well.
out I think he hands out Bible verses. And
Yeah, you
stuff
know.
like that.
And
And
it's-
I
and
think he says hi. And
sometimes it's uplifting anyway. Like regardless of if you're like religious, he's just a nice guy. You know. So,
and he doesn't like do a spiel. He just says like, "Oh, God bless you," and he
Oh,
gives you
yeah.
a card and like
and
talks
then,
for like a minute
and
or
then
two.
and then he'll talk about trains. He always talks about trains to me.
and then it's like, anyways, now that I'm done the preaching part,
Yeah.
let's talk about trains.
Which it is funny because he never did it to me very often. Which I'm almost like, what? You don't care about my salvation? No, I just kidding. You preach to everyone except me.
can you like Harry?
Harry.
What are you selling?
Yeah, but no, he would talk about trains all the time. Which I don't know, sweet guy. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was gonna go somewhere. Like you were gonna turn into a.
Oh, well-
you were gonna
Well, we could talk about trains.
you were gonna
He-
you were gonna transport. I'm trying to think of a witty way to segue with train analogies.
with train. Let's chug on out of here.
Let's blow the whistle and get out of this harbor.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's for boats.
Whoa. Yeah, that's awful.
I'm trying.
The train harbor.
Jamie, I'm falling again.
Yeah, I'll try and catch you. I don't know.
Let's get out of this harbor.
Ugh. I don't know what to
You're
do.
like, oh God.
I don't know what to do here.
Austin is not very intelligent.
No. He but like trains, it is cool. He was actually like a train like what's the word? Not connoisseur. Like,
Enthusiast?
Enthusiast is a good word for it. Yeah, he was. I remember one conversation I had with him. He was talking about the train museum in Chicago or something. I was like, "There's a whole museum based around trains."
I believe it.
And he was like, he's so hyped about it. He was like going off, and he's like, I just love trains. And actually, one time I took a train. This sounds rude, but I saw him come on, and because he does talk a lot, and I just remember I was like, oh no, I don't want to talk to him for like 3 hours though, even though he's a really nice guy.
There's a difference between having a nice conversation with someone for 10 minutes
And sitting next to him
on a train
for
for
3
3
hours.
hours.
Yeah, because I just wanted to mind my own business and like put headphones on and stuff when you're on a train. So
Dude, it was super interesting. One time when I was on the train, because I used to go back and forth a lot. I didn't have a car
yeah,
when I first moved to Toronto.
Yeah.
So going back between Sarnia and Toronto, I would just take the train all the time,
Yeah.
which I freaking loved. Dude, the train is so sick.
they are. Yeah,
Free
I like trains.
internet. The chairs are incredibly comfortable. It's pretty rare that you really get crammed in. And so I would just do it. What I would do is I'd bring a book. I'd read for a bit, fall asleep, wake
Bring a
up,
bucket and
watch
a
a
mop.
video. And then watch a video for 15 minutes and I'd fall asleep again and just keep just constantly passing out of consciousness. It was
Yeah.
my favorite thing.
Yeah.
But one time when I went on there, I was sitting beside. I went to Northern High School.
Yeah.
And I sat beside one of my old teachers.
Oh, weird.
It was really weird.
And you did you?
Yeah, this was 2 years ago. Like we just both sat in the same place, and I was like, and I forget her name, but I was like, Mrs. So and So, and she looked at me with Austin, and
Oh, weird.
It was. You know what the funny part was I was actually a
did y'all
student.
kiss?
Then we kissed.
Nice.
No, dude. And the funny part was she had to kick me. I think she had to kick me out more than any student in the class.
Oh, yeah.
So there's definitely that extra dynamic. But dude, at that point, it was 5
Well,
years
you're
ago.
like
So
an
I was just
adult,
joking
yeah.
around about it, going like, "Yeah, you used to kick me out all the time." She's like, "Yeah, I did. I recall."
Yeah. It's like, actually, on second thought, get out of this seat. Like, can you get away from me?
She's like, "If only I had the authority to kick you off this train."
Yeah, I would.
No, we actually had a great conversation.
Oh, that's
because
nice.
it turns out teachers are pretty normal people that just have to do their job.
Oh,
And
yeah.
once they've fulfilled their duty, why would they? They're just like, yeah, okay, yeah. I used to kick you out. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Oh, I used to have some awesome teachers. Like,
Yeah, dude, you were chilling at skits, taking the. Were you in the college courses?
yeah,
Dude,
for the most part.
everybody in the college courses is laid off. Do you know why? Because there's no stakes. They're just
Yeah.
chilling out.
Oh, it was pretty chill.
You want Jimmy? Okay.
Well, it was the same teachers who taught both. So ultimately, like I'll give an example. I'd say most of my favorite teachers ever, probably any English teacher I ever had, which is weird. But I had one named Mr. Fitch. He was really funny. And then Mr. Rook was a really big one at my school because I went to a school called Skits.
Yeah.
And he was like very popular among students. Like everyone loved him. He was just such a cool guy.
You know,
He would share kind of like inappropriate stories with the class, but yet everyone
I'm
kept
funny
it
and relatable.
yeah,
Kind
and everyone would be on the hush hush. Everyone knew he was kind of like a little bit.
You
of
know,
a
I
wild
always
guy,
felt
but
that in the
he was
grand scheme
cool.
of things, I probably belonged at Skits more than Northern.
Yeah. Oh, there was a lot of cool people there.
I
honestly.
know.
It was a good time.
But the problem is I didn't really care enough about high school to switch high schools. Mm-hmm. So because
Yeah, if we went to high school together, that'd be wild.
that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I said Northern was definitely.
It was way bigger.
It wasn't really for me. But once again, I didn't really care enough to actually do anything about it. I was just like, it's high school. I don't care. So let's
Yeah.
keep going.
yeah.
But in hindsight, if I was more assertive, I would have went like, "Yo, fuck this! I'm
Yeah.
gonna go to Skits."
Yeah, Skits was awesome, and I think because it was a little bit of a smaller school, I feel like everyone was a little more tight knit there. Like even the people like I didn't necessarily get along with, they were still like all right. Like there wasn't a whole lot of like division. Like everyone was pretty chill there. So I don't know. Ultimately, I would say, I had a pretty good high school experience. So. It would have been way different. It would be weird if we went to high school together. I think during that period we didn't hang out much, right?
We hung out every weekend
We did
for like 3 years. Do you remember that? Dude, you used to go to Dunamis. And
Yeah,
you-
we went to a
at
youth
one
group, but that
point-
wasn't right
Jamie,
away. That
but
wasn't right
Jamie,
away.
I know, but
That
at
wasn't all
one
of high
point,
school.
like 16, 17, at
Yeah.
one point, it was assumed that you were sleeping over.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even ask anymore. You just showed up to Dunamis with a backpack on.
Yeah.
And then you just came back to my house.
That's true.
And sometimes you would stay for 2 nights
That's
and be
true.
there the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Dude, that easily happened for like a year and a half to 2 years.
Oh, it did. Yeah, but I'm just saying the beginning of high school, we definitely went through a phase
I'm
where we
just a
didn't
little
hang out.
upset because I feel like you're underplaying our relationship.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. No. There was definitely a good 2-year mark where we didn't talk that much, but
No, that was before
It's-
high school.
I guess.
Or it was grade 8, grade 9.
Oh,
like
you
that
know
whole
what?
period where I left BLCA. I started going to Lake Road, and then you stayed up until like grade 8ish and got homeschooled or whatever.
Yeah.
So for that couple year period, we didn't talk much, and then we met up again in grade 10, beginning of
Right.
grade 10 at Dunamis.
Right. Oh yeah. No, that's
So that's
true.
That's where that dead window was.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. No, that was interesting. Oh, actually, so I've been kind of my sleeping schedule's been pretty bad. So I've had to fix it, but something I basically had to pull an all-nighter yesterday to fix my schedule, and I'm sure everyone knows this, but pulling an all-nighter sucks. Like, I'm sure anyone who's tried it realizes you feel like complete garbage. And it actually, do you remember that one time you were talking to me because we were like really young, and you're like I heard if you like stay up for a couple days, like you start like hallucinating.
Yeah.
And, like it's like crazy. It's like, do you want to just stay up with me and see if we go crazy?
Dude,
I was
thinking, I'm like, because
for
we
sure.
we were both at that time like into like just anything. Like you were into like, ghosts and conspiracies, and
Yeah.
I kind of was too. Or just I was like, man, what if like anything's possible, man?
Yeah.
So I started reading about sleep
Young.
deprivation, and they started saying like, man, you'll start seeing shit and stuff, and I was like, man, that sounds so sick.
Yeah, let's
So-
yeah, we're like we get to try.
So I can tell you exactly what happened. So
Yeah.
it was my first time. Okay, so we're 15.
Yeah.
It was my first time ever making coffee. And we had a coffee machine. So I
Yeah.
went, okay, you just got to throw a bunch of coffee in there and then turn it on, get coffee. So I like filled it up to the max. Like I filled it like the bean. You know how like there's like what do you call that? The paper? Like the
Filter.
filter? Dude, I basically filled that filter almost to the top.
Yeah.
And I poured coffee through it, and then we both drank it. And I remember distinctly, Scott Pilgrim versus the World just came out.
Oh, okay.
We
yeah.
were watching it on my computer, and we were drinking this coffee, and it was so much caffeine that I was shaking.
Yeah.
And we were watching the movie, and I was almost crying while I was watching it because I was just so hyped up on coffee. That,
Like
and then-
laughing,
and
you
then-
mean?
Yeah, just
Yeah, yeah.
overwhelmed. And like I was just bursting out my brain with caffeine watching this hyper intensive ADD movie.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember that being so weird.
Yeah. Well, the part of
And then we
that-
crashed.
Well, yeah, the part of that I remember the most was we made it one night. So we were trying to, because I was staying at night for 2 nights.
Yep.
And we're like, we're gonna stay up for 2 nights in a row.
The whole way through that
We're like,
whole weekend,
let's
we're
do it.
staying up.
We're like, we're not sleeping at all, and we'll just see what happens.
No,
And
dude, do you remember? Oh,
it
sorry,
got
you go
miserable.
ahead. You go ahead.
Well, I just remember we made it one night, and I don't think we made it the second night, but
No.
I think I actually felt sick. Like it was like
we did,
yeah,
dude. It was probably
bad.
the caffeine. That
we were,
coffee
we were
messed
drinking
us up.
like, and to be fair, you weren't the best at making coffee.
No,
your
dude,
first
I
time.
told you I filled it up to the top.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this, okay?
Yeah.
I remember one thing that maybe you don't.
Yeah.
Which is quite a change.
Yeah,
The morning, the morning after the first night, we both felt like garbage. Probably coming down from our first like mainline needle strike of caffeine.
yeah.
And-
First injection of coffee
I know,
right
just
to the
like,
veins.
oh, I know, just like jonesing.
Yeah.
So you said, let's go for a run. So we went outside
I
and
vaguely remember.
we were unshowered in our pajamas, in bare feet,
As
on
one
Lake,
does.
on Lakeshore Road, just jogging down the street.
Yeah.
And then partway through, I realized that the back of your pajamas was like ripped open, so part of your like butt was showing.
Really? So I'm just flopping around my ass cheek, running
So,
down the street with
so
no sleep.
It's like 11 a.m. on like a Saturday,
Yeah.
and there's just these 16-year-old kids just jogging down the street in like
Who are those
pajamas.
homeless kids?
And yeah, these people on Lakeshore
Where are their
driving
parents?
down, going, these disgusting degenerates.
Yeah.
What are they doing in the North End?
Yeah,
They're
get 'em
supposed to stay downtown.
Get them
Those
back.
filthy
Get them
animals.
back there.
If anything, they're just like
A cop pulls over next to us. We're like, hey guys, aren't you in the wrong neighborhood? we're like,
a cop,
what?
a cop comes up. It's like,
No,
hey
he,
kids,
he lives right there. It's
Do
like,
you-
we're gonna have to talk to your parents.
Where do you live? Queen Street?
I've noticed something about this particular podcast. We're being way more heavy on the Sarnia, which is fine.
Well, dude, we're local. We're still local.
Still local
That's
at
the
the
best
moment.
part.
Yeah,
If maybe a couple
mostly.
years from now, maybe we hit it big.
Yeah.
we'll have to start talking
most
about
part.
broader topics. But dude, for now,
Oh,
we
yeah.
can slam the niche products all day.
Well, and it's still fun fun to hear anyway. But I just do notice we're talking heavily about Spider-Man. But I do.
Sorry.
It was
I just,
so bad.
I just imaged the. I'm sorry. I just love the cop visual. Excuse me. You're on Lakeshore Road.
Yeah, he's like, are you guys lost? Cover up. He like,
And the cop is nervously looking across the street, and he sees like people staring from the windows, just like wondering how this is going to resolve.
he's like, oh, I need to get rid of them. The property value is going down.
My grandparents live around here.
Yeah, the property value is slowly dropping.
I see a real estate agent already like losing hair, just going, "Oh shit."
This kid's ass cheeks hanging out.
Oh man, that's good.
Yeah. Do you remember?
By the way, we have a minute or two left.
Oh wow,
we're already getting near the end. I know.
Damn. Okay. Well, so one thing I do, a quick thing to add.
Give us a closing thought. Give us something to think about.
I will, but just a quick thing I want to mention.
Sure.
Do you remember the time I stayed the night and we woke up and the 519 gang? Basically, someone vandalized your whole neighborhood.
Dude, we have to talk about that maybe in depth at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, but
yeah, I guess it's. But it was funny. We just woke up and someone vandalized everywhere, and they spray painted.
yeah, dude, they
519
spray
gang.
painted our garage door.
Yeah.
519 gang.
I just remember I slept over.
And I was 90% convinced that I knew them too.
that it was me.
I was
Your parents were
90%
like,
sure it was Jamie.
that downtown kid stayed the night. Now there's graffiti everywhere.
That cop found you again. He was
Your
you were
parents
the
like that
first,
kid with his ass cheek
Dude,
hanging
Jamie,
out, running
that-
down the street.
Dude, that
Now
cop
there's-
found you again, and you were the first suspect.
It's like, weren't you the kid who was running around with sunken in
Does anyone-
eyes?
I know they're like at a council meeting. They're like, remember that degenerate that was running down Lakeshore?
That kid tweaking out on something hyped.
It's
Didn't-
always those
clearly
South
didn't
End
sleep.
children.
Clearly didn't sleep.
They come to their rich friends' houses and muck up our neighborhood.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
So,
we're out of time now, so-
closing thought. Don't judge a book by its cover. If you see
Wow.
someone with their ass cheek hanging out, hey, maybe they didn't sleep that night.
You know what? Maybe you should sew it up for him.
Yeah. Just
I would say get your kit out of the back of your car and
Tell 'em-
just drop over and go. Can I?
tell them to bend over.
If you bend over quick, I'll clean
sew that up for you.
I'll fix that for you.
All right. Yeah. I guess so. Yeah. I guess we're coming to an end. So, thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks for hanging out.
We'll see you. We'll see you next week.
Next week,
Yes.
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays. Take care.